Hey, Crystal Maiden here, showing off more missions. This one is pretty nice. I like navigating through level design with the flame shield. Although, again, just like with Sonic 3 Knuckles, the flame shield kind of bursts you forwards really far, and the camera can't always keep up with you, even though it's so panned out. But otherwise, it's pretty nice. One of Omochao's unused lines in Egg Quarters in SA2 says, "Watch the Emerald Detector," which is next to the Emerald Radar. If the detector lights up, be careful. The radar was linked to the Beetle robot you hid from, which had a similar eye marking to the file ST626 radar, going from green to yellow to red. By the way, they misspelled radar. They had a E instead of an A. So that was weird. An unused line from Omochao warns of annoying traps in the second Shadow vs. Sonic fight that never appeared in the final game. In Mad Space, he would have said, "This is the bumpy planet." Meteor Herd has a lot of these lines, implying that it would have become a lot more like Mad Space, with a whole bunch of different planets. Like a dimpled meteorite where you can't go up, and a huge meteorite where you have to beware of falling meteorites. There's a small meteorite where you have to watch out for dangerous traps, and a holy meteorite. And Omochao says about that, if you fall in, you die. And he also says, "This is the meteorite with a huge wall." That's a pretty unimaginative name for it. And this is the tunnel meteorite, and this is the cracked meteorite. Stuff like that. Omochao also has unused lines about scrapped Chao World features like hitboxes, the ability to use the D-pad of all things to change the camera angle, and downloading a new scenario Chao adventure from the unused Chao library. About the whole hitboxes thing, well, technically he did have a hint monitor in SA1's Station Square Chao Garden, so it makes sense. I like this mission. Kinda. Like, I failed it the first time because I forgot I was supposed to be collecting rings. Like, I didn't feel like it was intuitive that I had to pay attention to the top right corner of the screen, because if I looked at it, then I would have noticed that getting hit there was a very bad thing. And like, you lose a lot of rings when you get hit, but they all disappear so fast, so you don't have to press Y in front of an enemy to turn into a ring. Now you can just walk up to it and it turns into one. But the thing is that you've only got a limited amount of the ring powers. Like, you press Y and you use up one of them. And I didn't find this to be very intuitive. But yeah. It is a pretty nice mission. I don't really like how I wanted to hear the music, but it kept getting interrupted by the remix of the Knuckles Chaotic Special Stage theme that plays when you use the ring power. It's just as repetitive as the original. I mean, it's satisfying turning all these cheap enemies into rings, but still. I mean, this is another skill I'm never gonna use because you can only have a limited amount of skills. So, and there's so many enemies right at the very end. If you get hit at the end by their fire breath, then you're pretty much doomed, although you can just jump on top of them, so it's not that big of a deal. I figured it was pretty appropriate, come to think of it, playing it as Mighty, because, I mean, Mighty was the main character that I played as in Knuckles Chaotix after all. Although I didn't think that it would be that kind of mission when I chose to play as them. Wow, 2 doppelganger missions right next to each other. I had a hard time finding the Crisis City missions because of the way the hub world was arranged. That's why I don't show all of the Crisis City missions in a row. Sonic's regular shoes can still be seen in, for example, the first cutscene of SA2's Dreamcast version. Many screenshots, artwork, and the Dark Story version of the CG cutscene of Sonic running onto the space shuttle. This implies that the Soap Shoes agreement was something that was was not made like right away when the game was developed. The old Baron Hero or Dark character select menu can still be found in SE2 Battle by changing the menu ID. And it's about 9% intact. Kart Race can be available, and the menu lacks the battle background given to the other game menus, and even retains the color changes from character themes. The only part of the remaining Dreamcast 2-player menu that doesn't work in battle is the character select, which always shows Shadow and Eggman's icon. It doesn't include alternate options. Aside from this, the 2-player menu works, even returning you to it after a match. The second unused menu in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is the Download Events menu via the Kart Race menu, which is useless. It's hard to access because it immediately kicks you out. Parts of it can be seen in the Kart menu. The Dreamcast TV settings picture exists as well in Battle. The icon can be re-enabled, but the graphic for it no longer exists, replaced with the second theme select icon. The settings menu doesn't change anything if 50 or 60 Hz is picked, but the task option works fine. The last leftover menu in SE2 is one that was replaced in the 2012 HD version, where the Almo Chow tutorial was replaced with a different one resembling a manual for some reason. I guess that was too exciting for them. The tutorial button was removed from the extra menu, but can be enabled. It's unchanged from the GameCube version other than the background when the DLC isn't active. He even has a GameCube controller slideshow and the original header, which is weird because they don't use the GameCube controller for the PC version, which obviously means the analog controls aren't as good. I have way too much trouble with the past the goalpost part of this doppelganger mission, because I guess it didn't occur to me that I absolutely needed to hit a yellow spring on a car to progress, and so I kept falling down. I guess the yellow spring didn't appear obvious enough. And this slope doesn't really look like you can go up it, and this really does go to highlight how bad the jump for Classic Sonic is. Like, I kind of thought there was a corkscrew loop. And see, I died there, because I just went right over the spring. And see, to the right of me, it looks like there are platforms I can jump over to, but if you try to go over there, some fire tornado hazard. There are floating rings, objects, and enemies in White Jungle that were actually a very different early Green Forest layout. It's even different from what's seen in SE2 the preview. The ramps send you to your doom. One of them here has a homing attack chain of beetle robots you can go through nearby. It's even older than E3 trailer footage. You think they would have replaced that a long time ago. The press start button graphic at the bottom of the Sonic 1 title, due to a glitch, it actually didn't appear in the official Sonic 1 release. At the end of 1999, Sonic Adventure ran some sponsored time attack contests, and there were two main competitions, one for the US and one for Europe. The European one, rather than being the Sonic 2K challenge, was Sonic Speed Challenge. Reebok DMX ads appear at Station Square's hotel, telling you to go to Emerald Coast for the contest. A start plate can be found above the entrance to Emerald Coast that you touch to begin the challenge. Floating shoes above you at the start of the level appear, and you need to get 5 of them to beat the stage. You'll get a message for each hidden pair of shoes that you manage to find, and at one point on the way to the loop, you need to look up in the tunnel. How are you supposed to know that? Some of them can be placed in really weird spots, and it's weird how it's a time attack challenge and a speed challenge, and yet it's all about slow-paced exploration, looking for stuff. That's kind of the opposite of speed, don't you think? I really like the power stomp. Like, I love the shockwave it creates. Don't entirely like the mission though. The sound, for some reason, the sound effects are way too loud, and well, I kept homing attacking there. That reminds me of the fact that another problem with the Elemental Shields mission, where you use all 3 Elemental Shields in Planet Wisp, was that it was easy to accidentally use the air dash or whatever by accident because you kept spamming the A button, and so you would use the Elemental Shield's ability when you didn't want to. But anyways, there's not nearly enough checkpoints in this mission, so if you die, you get sent pretty far back. And it's pretty slow paced. I wish I could have the power stomp equipped all the time, but like I'm allowed to equip such a tiny amount of skills. And I don't want to sacrifice the skills so there can be better controls for it. Even though I'm pretty sure, like I'm suspecting that those skills that give you better controls don't actually do anything, because like there's a skill to get rid of the stun animation, but it doesn't actually get rid of it. So what's the point? But yeah, there's a 10-minute time limit for that Sonic Speed Challenge. So I guess they expected you to take a really long time in Emerald Coast during it. The barrier at the end of Act 1 of Emerald Coast prevents progression in that mission, so don't start a file while doing the contests. Contest winners were given gold discs and t-shirts as prizes. I'm surprised they were giving prizes at all. I guess it was a different time back then. Like real life prizes, like merchandise. There are 6 unused computer-controlled demos for SA2 for Green Forest and Iron Gate. Green Forest has Sonic hit a wall, get stuck in a tunnel, and die. The Iron Gate demo has camera angles from the demo SA2 The Trial. There's also demos in the prototype SA2 The Preview version for Pumpkin Hill, where Knuckles falls to his death screwing up, and Skyrail, which has some complex, flashy camera work until Shadow misses a homing attack and falls to his death. And there's another Iron Gate demo where Eggman gets stuck walking into a level 1 wall. In Weapons Bed demo, Eggman gets stuck walking into a wall early on. Also, SA2 has a hidden debug mode letting you record your own demos. Like the big thing that I haven't talked about yet is that it actually has problems with Final Hazard. Oh god, I really hate this mission, and playing this song didn't make it better at all. This is easily the worst mission in the game, which kind of makes me regret having not shown it off as that mission that I showed off. But again, like, that mission showed off what happens when you beat all of the missions, so I guess I had to. But anyways, you bounce off the top of those things, which you can really use to your advantage. The annoying thing is that you have to know to hold up while pressing the A button, and that's how you get off them, not extremely stiffly. How are you supposed to know that? Even in Sky Babylon Act 2, you at least jumped off of the balloons normally. So that was kind of annoying for me to figure out. But yeah, like there's these balloons all over the place, and you have to rely on them to progress up vertical level design. You can take advantage of the fact that you can bounce off the top of them to stay in the air. Obviously, Classic Tails' model is very unfinished when it comes to hanging off the balloons. Although I didn't actually notice that for quite a long time because the camera's so panned out. And I was just focused on beating the level. The enemies are so cheaply placed here. That's the second biggest problem with this level. But the absolute worst part is that there's no checkpoints at all. Like, I wouldn't hate this mission nearly as much if it weren't for the fact that it always forces me to start from the very beginning. Some balloons will send you up into spikes, so it's not like you can stay on them. I don't know why the cannons from Sonic Heroes are here. Like it's Generations, it's supposed to be about representing the games correctly, but you have like stuff from other games in levels. It's weird. But yeah, I don't know why these really cheap enemies are here. Like, the enemies in this level are very cheap and cheaply placed. Especially at that very end section of the level. That is just nightmarish. Now, I thought that all I'd have to do to end the mission was go up into here. Because this looked like you were going into the Eggman train section, but no. Apparently, the game arbitrarily decided to put more vertical level design above the clock face. That means that I have to spend even longer here. I really hate this section of the level. Like, seriously, the projectiles that the enemies shoot are the worst. And the ring scarcity is also a pretty huge problem. Like, at one point in the level, the only way you'll be able to get more rings is through a ring box that you'll probably die trying to get. I think it's right here, actually. And of course, you need to remember to hold up in order to jump and not just stiffly fall off them. Some stages added to SA2 Battle weren't developed cleanly and have leftovers from their one-player version. Cosmic Wall had its entire stage's object loaded out of bounds. The arena is where the stage beginning is. The item box's content match up with the Dreamcast version, but most stages don't have any leftovers except for one more stage like this, Downtown Race. Taking place in Cityscape, you can find Cityscape objects behind its second half. Some are missing, and it's a mix between the Dreamcast and GameCube versions. You can follow the objects levitating to make your way through the stages. There's one Beetle robot there that's only in the Dreamcast version normally. Omochao loads an error message in Japanese from having no programmed text when you go up to him. And the gun truck will behave normally while completely ignoring the lack of ground. You can find pretty much the whole stage minus the ground. In level 2 races, the goal ring appears earlier than normal.